Hey guys, welcome back to the stuff. This week is part 2 of my bar build in my kitchen. Just a reminder, it looks a bit like this. Last week, or in last video, I put together the carcass and attached that into the alcove. This week I am doing the face frame, a little bit of scribing, and I think that is all that you've got for this video. But without further ado, let's get amongst it. So back to the kitchen. Okay, so I've got the unit screwed in to the wall, so that's all secure. What I'm going to do now is start facing this off, and what I mean is I'm going to be putting a face frame around this. I've got some pine. What I'm going to be doing is cutting the pine so that I can start to cover the edges. So I've got some 18mm pine which is going to go over the internals, and that's only about 12mm thick, so that's going to sit slightly recessed from the front. And then I've got the 18mm pine which I'm going to rip down to the right sizes. So this one is going to be scribed to the wall, and I'll go through scribing later. This one is just going to be stuck on the width of the MDF panel behind, and then over here what I'm going to have is a sort of L shape on the end. So I'm going to have one bit that is on the front, butted up against that, and then the other bit which goes to the wall just to cover in that end there, and that'll give me essentially the look of a fitted unit, even though, well, I guess it is a fitted unit. So that's the plan. I'm going to get out in the shed and give everything a trim on the table saw. See you out there. I ripped down all the pine using my table saw. The ones that were 18mm, I just used one of the pieces of MDF to help me set my fence. For the bits where I'd be scribing, I made sure to give myself enough pine left to allow the scribing to occur. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to explain what I'm doing with the scribing as I go along, and hopefully it will make sense. So I've got my piece of wood which is going to be the face frame for the cabinet, and what I'm going to do is offer that up to the wall, and because of the skirting board there's a nice big gap at the top. So what I'm going to do is just, where it's touching at the bottom, just make sure that that ends up level. So that's about level there. And then what I'm going to do is just clamp that in position. Just give that a little check. Yep, that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is, because I want this edge to be flush with the side of the cabinet, I'm going to measure around the back and then set my compass to that distance and then scribe down. And by scribing, what I mean is I'm going to follow the contour of the wall, and that'll project it onto the bit of wood, and hopefully that'll mean that when I cut that along that line, I'll be able to slide that along and it will fit against the wall. So if I just measure behind here, that's 55, 54, 53. So I'm looking at 51mm there. Just check it all the way down. Yeah, it's the same all the way down. So what I want to do now is set my compass to 51. Okay, so having set my compass, I can then put it up against the wall and just follow the contour down. So I don't know whether you can see that on there, but I've got a line that goes all the way down and around where the skirting board is. So hopefully when I cut that out, it should all butt up against, and this line will be in line with the cabinet. Just cut that out and go and have a look. I'm using the jigsaw to cut out this scribe. I'm using it the right way up. I've seen in a few other YouTube videos people using it the other way up. Don't know whether that's easier or not. I find it easier just to do it this way. So it is by no means the best scribe that you'll see on YouTube, but it is close at the top there. I have at the bottom, I'm not going to lie to you, I think I've got a bit bigger gap at the bottom. Not quite sure what happened there. I think maybe I need to think about what I'm doing with my jigsaw, but I think I can probably fill that. I'm not going to rescribe because at the top I'm actually pretty close. So I'm gonna go with that. Bit of caulk at the bottom. Well, it'll be a bit of caulk all the way up, but yeah, a little bit more at the bottom than I would have liked. But that is that first piece scribed. Okay, for this side of the cabinet, or the bar, I'm going to be facing the front off with a piece of pine, and then I also need to face the side off. So this bit is going to slot in the gap that I have around here. So what I'm going to do is join the two of these together at a right angle, and then scribe this one, this edge to the wall, including the skirting board down the bottom, much like I did the other side, and then that'll slide on and I'll be able to connect that up. For the filler pieces on either end, I used a mix. I used both glue and screws. I just felt that the 18mm could take a screw. For the bits in between, I just used glue. Try to avoid splitting, and it cut down on the amount of filling I would need to do later. And I was just using a bit of tape to hold them in position while the glue dried. It was a lot of work doing this face frame, and it's not completely necessary. I could have just painted the edge of the MDF. However, I kind of feel that pine takes a better paint finish. MDF can sometimes look a bit grainy when you paint it because it soaks up all the moisture. You can just apply more and do lots of sanding, but I just like the way that pine finishes, so that's what I went with. And then once the glue was dry, I could just remove the tape, fill in any holes using some 2-part filler, give it a sand down again using some 120 and then some 240. And then I could apply some Zinza primer, followed by the same satin wood top coat. So there we have it. That is the face frame on my bar. So that's coming along really nicely. And as I mentioned last time, I've already built that bar and I'm just filming these intros retrospectively. So I'm going to celebrate with another cocktail from the bar. And today I've got a little gin gimlet. Oh, that is boozy. Anyway, you stay safe, get some stuff done.